Episode 43. All creatures on earth, particularly the higher life forms, fast or go without food very, very instinctively the moment they have any form of ailment. With exception, modern man. The more educated we are, the more literate we are, the less instinctive we have become. And hence, we are totally out of touch with this natural process of rejecting food and giving your body a chance to recover, recuperate, get rid of the unwanted and the unnecessary, and refresh. Your pet has a problem with its digestive system. It will not eat. The cat family and the dog family, they will actually eat a particular type of grass which will either cause dysentery or it will cause them to vomit whatever they have eaten which is not right for the body. There is a saying in Sanskrit, Langanam Parama Aushadam, which means going without food, Langanam, is the ultimate medicine, and it has been an integral part of Vedic wisdom. And practice of fasting is an ancient science of curing many, many diseases. A book by Professor Arnold Ehret dates back to 1966, titled Rational Fasting for Physical, Mental and Spiritual Rejuvenation. Professor Arnold, in his book, has given a complete rundown on various experiments conducted with fasting. Some of them are in extremes. I am not even recommending that you buy the book and read it. On Amazon, I think it still costs $900 Indian rupees. I happen to have inherited the first original edition, which was sold for $1.95 whenever this book was bought. In this book, he talks about tap water fasting. So no nutrition is being fed to the body and you only drink normal room temperature water, anywhere from 3 days to 30 days. He also gives you a very detailed description of how mucus inhibits your body's functions and its ability to recuperate and repair, and how rational fasting will actually allow your body to get rid of excess mucus. So fasting as means to health, quite counterintuitive as compared to modern narratives, which is always about eating something or the other rather than not eating at all. But it should be obvious to us that if not eating is a medicine, then it cannot be anybody's business, you understand? How can I charge you money? I can sell magic potions to you, I can sell different foods to you, but how do I sell you fasting and charge you money for it? Not good business. Instinctively, your child falls ill, it will not want to eat. So if you're having any form of ailment, cold, cough, fever, indigestion or any such thing, skip one major meal, whether it is lunch or dinner, your wish. Incidentally, today happens to be Ekadashi fast. It is called Yogini Ekadashi. There are a lot of legends and tales attached to Ekadashi fasting. You can surf the internet and find out more about it. ISKCON promotes Ekadashi very, very fiercely. You can learn quite a lot from them in terms of information. So various fasts have been practiced in the Vedic traditions. Like I said earlier, the Vedic astrology, astronomy. See, there is no clear distinction, between astronomy and astrology. So these two are very much interchangeable. So there are so many opportunities to experiment with not eating. And it also happens to be common to Islam. Everybody knows the one full month of a particular type of fasting. It's called Ramadan, during which from sunrise to sunset you absolve yourself from infusing anything whatsoever, not even water. And in every Ramadan month, there are 3 days which are prescribed to be the most important. Now these 3 days come every month, and it is a common practice in Islam to fast for these 3 days. I'm mentioning this because there is a significance to these 3 days. They called the brightest days, the 3 bright days. It starts 2 days prior to full moon and finishes on full moon. Now these 3 days, if you will observe, even though full moon is only on the 3rd day, the moon is almost full. So you are getting extra sun on these 3 days. So instead of consuming food right through the day and adding more sun to your body, which can cause harm, burn you from within, not literally but virtually, the practice is to absolve from drinking or eating anything at all right through the day from sunrise to sunset. And after moonrise, you add more sun to you. Popular practice actually makes sense to anybody who understands the lunar cycle, makes sense to somebody who understands that food is sun, different forms of it. If you listen to ISKCON followers, preachers, they speak volumes about Ekadashi fast. Ekadashi means 11th day of the lunar cycle, 11th day of the moon, whether it is the rising moon or the reducing moon. 11th day is Ekadashi, and you don't eat anything. It's almost like a 36 to 38 hours fast. And on the 12th day, Dwadashi, you break that fast, but you don't start eating like a full meal, pizza and burger and all that. You ease your body into normal food. What is the difference between vrat and upavas? Vrat means when you skip a couple of meals, or even if you don't eat certain foods. For example, the Navaratri Vrat, it is not upavas, it is vrat. You don't eat grains at all. Only fruits, vegetables, certain yams are allowed, certain wild rices variety is allowed, like that. There are food restrictions, there is regulation of what you eat and what you don't eat. You skip grains completely, and obviously no meat and no onion or garlic or any of the astringent. It's called a vrat. Denying yourself of a certain kind of food is vrat. Upavas, totally going off food. There are nirjala upavas. Nirjala means no water at all, not even water. What is upavas? You don't eat, you drop all activities, because your major activity is either eating or connected to eating. So you drop all activities and focus on yoga. What I mentioned just now are major ones. Then you have plethora of minor ones. You could do Chaturthi Vrat, you could do Sankashti Vrat. That's why I said the Vedic astrology gives you ample opportunities to experiment with different fasting. So what does fasting actually do to you? It affects you multifolds. It affects you in just too many number of ways. Is it a spiritual religious practice? Not religious necessarily. You could be following any religion, but it will lead you to a very special place of confidence, of faith, because all those insecurities, mental, emotional fears associated with food, nutrition will start to drop. And you'll be amazed at how many of our fears are associated to food and nutrition. Overall, faith that your health can become better will increase. Your faith in the universe will increase. Your oneness with the universe, oneness with life will actually go up just by absolving yourself of eating for a day. I have tried many forms of fasting. I do the Navaratri Vrat 2 or 3 times a year. There are actually 4 opportunities. I usually skip 1 or 2. So 2 I do for sure. Chaitra and Shardiya Navaratri Vrat I do for sure. The other 2 are optional. I often skip them because the weather is not congenial and I am not mentally prepared or emotionally ready. You give yourself all kinds of leeway. That's why it doesn't have to be strict religious vow. Experiment a bit. And my experience with fasting, the Navaratri Vrat, I call it eating differently, because you are eating. You are sufficiently nourished. In fact, I think better in many ways, healthier in many ways, but you are nourished. So that has a different effect, a different experience. Totally going off food for 36 to 38 hours, that is the Ekadashi Vrat, it's a completely different experience. Build your faith, build your emotional muscle and experiment with it at least a few times. So not eating is actually a big deal, a bigger deal than what you eat. And what I have also observed is that the food cravings, emotional satiation from eating and such addictions, they start to drop off. You will be nicely detached. I said nicely detached. An equanimous state with food. Food, drinks, everything. You get it? Then there are many other experiments that are popular nowadays, starting from intermittent fasting to 1 meal a day, kind of OMAD fasting. Now just to clarify, intermittent fasting is, even if you chose to not eat between 2 meals, it will count as intermittent fasting. It is a good thing, useful thing to do. But if you can skip a meal, again I would recommend, if you are a 3 meal a day kind of person, try skipping lunch or change it to something light, maybe a salad or a smoothie or some such thing. It will go a long way. Convert to supper, that's another option you've got. So it prolongs your fasting period between your last meal of the day and the first meal of the next day. Okay, so that also will count as intermittent fasting. Experiment a bit with intermittent fasting. OMAD, now I need to clarify this. You probably have heard of 1 meal a day, but this 1 meal doesn't mean you have to finish it in 20 minutes. It's not like you eat all your food in one sitting. No. It means you have a time window for eating. As less as 1 hour, as much as 4 hours. That is a 1 meal a day regime. So you eat for 4 hours a day, that's it. Rest 20 hours you are not infusing any nutrition into your body except for plain drinking water. None of them I am recommending, because this is not a dietary program, but I am urging you, inviting you to experiment a bit, because It will set you free from a lot of unquestioned beliefs and fears. Suddenly, the hold the world has over you will drop. You will become far more independent, far more self-assured and fearless. It is an experiment worth doing. You want more information on this? You want a guided dietary plan or some such thing? Let me know. Post in the comment section. Send me a mail. You can WhatsApp me. The numbers are all there in the description. Connect with me. Communicate with me as per your wish. And I will see you in the next episode.